Most aerial shots nowadays are used to establish a location or help the edit move from scene to scene. Nothing special, but it gets the job done. Yet once in a while there's something like this. Here's Alejandro González Iñárritu, the director of The Revenant, in a clip from the behind-the-scenes material of the film.
The theme of the film is survival and spiritual growth through physical pain.
In combination, these shots basically represent what the theme of the film is. The aerial shot works because it develops Glass's spiritual journey, and while doing this it still functions as a transition from one scene to another. Throughout cinema's history there are many aerial shots that, like in The Revenant, have a lasting impression. In earlier days filmmakers couldn't afford to waste them, mainly due to the upcoming of small drones that can shoot in cinema quality and the development of more portable cameras. It became much cheaper and more accessible to shoot aerial shots, and in some time AI will make it completely free. Dunkirk, Top Gun Maverick or what Fincher did with CGI aerial shots are great examples why pushing technology again and again to the next level isn't a bad thing. Yet all of this led to a natural overuse which caused aerial shots in general to lose value. Additionally, with this advancement, let's call it more experimental approach became possible. FPV drones are now being used more and more in some productions, most notably in Michael Bay's Ambulance. These shots from Ambulance are, like most experimental approaches to filmmaking, a controversial topic. Either they make the movie better for you or they completely pull you out of it. But the faster, more dynamic movement of an aerial shot does not have to be this noticeable and self-centered. Glass is put here in a relationship with his surroundings. The shot gives us a slightly different perspective onto his journey. The long movement toward him lets you feel his will to reach his goal. Through the use of scale you get a different understanding of how long and straining his journey is. You feel his loneliness on a different level. But sometimes aerial shots are more of an intuitive choice. There are things and their specific nuances that can only be captured by an aerial shot in their fullness.
For 28 years there's been very little human activity across the UK. In order to achieve that we used drones to shoot so that there was no footprint at all.
This helicopter shot from The Revenant offers a solution for filming an action sequence in this kind of harsh environment. You need this sort of angle and movement to dynamically and realistically show the danger DiCaprio's character is inevitably moving toward, without cutting back and forth between the waterfall and Glass. This approach allows you to get all of the specific information into one single shot and stay consistent with the flow of the scene. But what is the difference between, for example, this shot from Drive, a movie you can't call generic at least from a visual standpoint, to most of the similar modern aerial shots of cities? The main goal of the shot in Drive isn't to establish a location, the goal is to get across a vibe. The key here is the placement of the shot in the scene. Moments before the aerial shot the city was already established and we have seen how the main character moves through this place. Now you could say that every other aerial shot of a city skyline these days also emits a certain vibe, but in my opinion there's more to a vibe than the immediate feeling a shot gets across right at the moment you see it. It is the context of a shot in a scene, a sequence, the whole film or even the whole decade that makes a difference. Maybe aerial shots are more interesting now when they aren't placed at the beginning of scenes to only establish a location. But this does not mean that aerial shots in general shouldn't be used as establishing shots anymore. They still are a great tool for world building, showcasing perspective and conveying scale. It is the lack of uniqueness and the disconnection from the themes of the movie that make them feel shallow. However, trying too hard to avoid being generic can lead to the opposite extreme. Similar shots like this one from Smile can again totally work for some movies when used in the right context. But in my opinion, Smile just wants a bit too much to be an elevated horror film, so that in the case of the aerial shot, style exceeds substance. I don't have problems with movies that intentionally go for style over substance, but there's a fine line a filmmaker has to find to make this sort of movie work. I think that this line is held when there's a specific thought-through vision or aesthetic that enriches the film's world, complementing all the characters' interactions and feelings. This can't work when the style is just put on a film like a filter. Most aerial shots these days are used in a similar fashion. They just are an easy way to fill up a scene or create visual appeal for the audience without conveying anything relevant. They are used as empty spectacles, but you can't easily just say that aerial shots should only be used when they add something to the story or to the characters of a movie. There are moments in filmmaking when style can exceed substance, when style becomes substance and says more about the emotion of a film than a story on its own ever could. Like an aerial shot of a city at night.